Hello, welcome to Book Club. Today we got all these beautiful, wise, creative, charismatic men
Damn.
Aw,
here to start the second part of Thus Spoke Zarathustra.
the
Part one
first
of
part of the
part
second
two.
part.
Yep,
Yeah.
part one of second part. As always, before we get into this, I'm gonna ask David how he's been doing.
Me. How have I been doing? I've been doing pretty good, man. Work has just been work. Still going on the path that I have set for myself. A little bit of side projects here and there, personal projects. As you can see, I've been working around with some fun metals. I finally ordered silver, which cost of silver disgusting right now.
It's pretty high. It's going up pretty high, right?
Disgusting. Yes. But I bit the bullet. I said, you know what? I may as well get it now because I do not see it coming down anytime sooner. Maybe in a year, 2 years, 3 years, who knows, whatever.
That's too
But that's
long.
coming in, so that'll be fun. I'll be working with that real soon. So personal stuff been going, hobbies are going, side projects are going, business is going, and honestly, that's about all I have for my update, man. Nothing too crazy, just flowing in the calm waters for right now. Yeah. Um, I'll pass it on. I'm gonna do a tag back. I'm gonna pass it right back to Howie.
I was expecting it too.
Oh, he was
All right,
ready.
I was ready. So for me, also not too much. Um, Literally not too much. My brother's graduation is coming up this weekend, so I'm gonna go do that. That'll be
High
nice.
school, college.
College, yes. So that'll be nice to do. See the family again, all that good stuff, all that jazz. And then the cats are doing really well. Our two little cats, they're getting along really well. They're like literally like almost cuddling. It's like they're playing around a little bit. It's the cats are going great. Um, so that's all good. Uh, I have relearned my hatred for myself, and I have played kind of started getting back into League a little bit. Um,
This
Gotta
is a
go
contentious
down to go
topic
up,
in the
man.
yeah.
pre-show.
So I just wanted to bring it out loud, say it out loud because maybe it'll help me realize the error of my ways. And to a public, I think it's important to say to a public
Yeah,
face
some public
because,
humiliation.
yeah,
Yeah, bring
exactly.
back shame.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
What
this
I've been
world
saying.
needs it.
Yeah, so that's why I decided to come out to the viewers of the Boogocracy.
Booga.
I'm a clip that. That's
Democracy?
why I
Oh
decided to come out to
no.
the viewers out of context
Uh,
completely.
Pure out of context.
Incredible.
But yeah, that's about it. I'll pass it off
Right
to
after we say we should bring shame back.
Connor. You got
To me,
Yeah, dude. Your turn to
shit.
come out to the boogocracy.
this is an
Uh, you
intervention.
know, you know me. I've just been working. Uh, that's basically it.
Yeah,
Got
that's
some
how it
fun plans
goes.
this weekend, you know?
Yeah,
And
you
There we
do?
go.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
what are you doing this weekend?
Yeah, what are you doing
you
this
know,
weekend? Is it your birthday
you know,
again?
it's my birthday again.
There's this thing about
No,
birthdays, they come around again.
yeah. No, it's I'm going to a little celebration of a good friend of mine.
Oh,
Who just so happens to be leaving
oh, who's
the
that?
That is something to
state.
celebrate.
Can't remember his name for some reason. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Oh,
Is it
Ryan
Seath? I think it was Seath.
I think Sethward sounds right.
Seth Ward, I think that makes
Sethward.
sense.
who's
That makes
that?
sense.
He
Um,
must be handsome.
He's all
Well,
right.
okay. A boy can
I'd
eat
say
lunch.
cute.
He is a cutie patootie,
Say
I will say.
cute.
No, No, yeah, that's like the most exciting thing in my life right now. I'm looking forward to.
An insane honor.
But yeah, finished an EMS job last week, all week, and then now I have another one I'm leaving for on Sunday. So, and then the week after that, I'm on call. So I will not have a weekend again for another 3 weeks.
So does that mean no Civ?
Let's go. I mean, we can,
No,
right?
we can still play. Yeah, that's okay. I'll
Oh yeah,
figure it
no,
out.
we can play. Yeah.
I'll run it in the morning, okay?
Get a Steam Deck.
But that's basically it. I'll pass it off to Southward.
That's me. You guys kind of stole like the juice of my update, which was my going away party, and the fact that my sister graduated. So like crazy. But yeah, my sister graduated from college. I was visiting her last weekend. Nice to see the family. Nice to see her walk the stage. Very, very proud of her.
He was neuroscience, right?
Yeah, neuroscience. Yep.
Dang.
The
Yeah,
vice president of NeuroCats.
Kind of
Legend.
crazy, actually.
that sounds prestigious.
It is. She got a special cord for it on her thing.
Special cord on a thing.
What's she
Special
gonna do
cord
with
on her.
neuroscience?
So
Was she want to research? I assume researching, right?
yeah, she's trying to go to med school.
Hmm.
But she's taking a gap year because getting into med school's really hard.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think she wants to do more research. I should ask her. I'm a bad brother.
Dang, bro.
I know she doesn't want to do surgery. I know that for sure. She has no interest in being a brain surgeon.
Fair. Sounds like a lot of pressure.
Yeah,
Sure
that sounds
does.
terrifying. So that's exciting. Yeah, got in the last couple weeks it hasn't been super eventful, but it's the upcoming weeks that are going to be kind of crazy for me. And I'm kind of putting Howie in the spin cycle for his editing schedule because I'm dipping for 2 weeks straight. But we got the move, we got family vacay. So looking forward to it. My girlfriend's coming to family vacay. That's a big deal. It's a
That's a
big
big
deal.
step, man.
It is
Very
a big
big step.
step.
That's a big
Yeah,
step.
we're pretty excited about it. But it is a pretty big deal. So we're moving into a new. I am currently sitting in the final words of this chapter in my life. It's an interesting place to be, for sure.
Bittersweet.
Yeah, gonna try really hard not to cry this weekend, but I
Oh,
probably will.
you're gonna cry.
I probably
Don't
will.
even try.
He's
Just let the
gonna
Lord
cry.
works,
I
bro.
probably will.
Yeah. I don't even think you probably will. I know you will.
Yeah, I'm like 1000% sure he's gonna cry. The question is how much. That's the
Yeah,
question.
yeah. It's gonna be like an ugly cry, or is it
And
gonna be tears, or
Yeah.
how much and which song at karaoke is gonna set it off? That's the question.
I
take a
missed you.
Kalshi bet
I
on
think
this?
182.
That's a good one. I want to say that the classic one in Fast and Furious. I can't remember the name. Been a long day
Oh,
without you,
that's
my
you.
friend.
See you again.
When I see you again. Yeah.
Careful. I don't want to get copyrighted. Don't make it
Sorry,
Yeah,
sound
that's a
any
little
harder.
too perfect.
We'll cut that out in post.
Yeah, that's all. That's all that's going on in Sepward's corner.
Nice. I feel like the update on the next podcast is gonna be like 40 minutes. But
Yeah, I know. It's gonna be.
30
I'll try to
minutes of
keep it
Seth.
short. I'll try. New segment.
The Seth segment.
Yeah, the Seth
That's for
segment.
everyone who commented how cute Seth was in the last episode.
Yeah, you get a whole segment of me now. That's exciting.
All right.
Save it for the
Well,
Patreon.
yes, actually, no, it's a good point. Patreon only. Okay. Well, first chapter, second part, 22, 23. I mean, the child with the mirror.
I'm looking at the child in the mirror.
Um,
So what y'all grab from this?
yeah,
Because
that's what I'm about to
genuinely,
say.
mine's a very quick and simple, and it was they're misrepresenting these teachings.
Yeah,
Already.
yeah. I think this was more story based. I feel like a lot of these chapters are kind of like a little story based, moving it along. But it really was. I don't think much to take away. I think it was just Zarathustra awakes from a dream because he went back into solitude, and I think this is like him being like he has a dream where he's like, there's a child in the mirror, and when Zarathustra stares at it, it's a devil, and it's everyone like all these uh non-believers, I guess, in a sense, warping Zarathustra's teachings to make him look like a devil, and
Which
so
isn't
he
that
joins the
so
people.
ironic?
I was gonna say that's all I feel from this whole thing is it's like weird kind of Jesus vibes. Not gonna lie.
How so?
Well, I mean this is kind of, I'm trying to touch on the past chapter here, but we got a guy who's got followers and he's giving them his teachings, the different teachings, but he comes to a world that doesn't understand him. The people hate him. Like there are some through lines here, and then as David points out, we get like the first line. It's like, oh, they're misrepresenting my teachings, and it's like, hmm,
Hmm.
sounds familiar.
Think
Personally, that's not what I was getting at. I was getting
Oh,
at the real life of Nietzsche having his entire
oh,
everything being
oh,
misrepresented.
oh, that's
But
even
I didn't
better.
your
see that.
connection is also very good.
I didn't see
I
the
like
Nietzsche
yours.
connection though.
The Nietzsche connection is awesome.
It's really interesting because
So
that's into the
ironic, bro
future.
called out his own life in the future.
It
But
is
this
kind
is,
of
we're
sad.
trying to bring it to what it's worth.
Mhm.
Well, I don't know much about that. Just him coming back. I thought those connections you guys made were actually really interesting. Um, but in the Happy Isles brings us to our next one. This one
All right, now we can get into
I
the meat
thought
and
was I
potatoes.
thought this one was a little bit of meat.
Mm.
Um, a lot
Oh,
of
meat.
God talk in this one.
Some
Hmm.
philosophy meat for my soul.
I this is it's very reminiscent of the passage or the chapters in the Twilight of the Idols where he talks
Mhm.
about really being in the world that you are in with your senses and not in any sort of fictitious world.
Yeah, it was definitely very much like him being like people in a sense create God and conceive about this idea, but he's saying why do this? Why conjecture about this when you could just be creating or conjecturing something that conceiving something that's related to the physical world, something that's more real rather than something that's more like spiritual, right? I think that's a lot of what this was saying. I did want to ask about this one paragraph where he says, "But that I may reveal my heart entirely unto you, my friends. If there were gods, how could I endure it to be no God? Therefore, there are no gods." Um, I thought the logical reasoning to get to the therefore was a little silly. Uh,
Bit of a jump.
but I want to ask what y'all thought about that. Like, does this even make sense, or is he just kind of like trying to reach here? What do you guys think about that? Because when he says, "How can I endure to be no God?" he means like, how could he endure to not be a God? Is that what he's saying? Or
That's kind of how I'm taking
that's
it,
what
just
you're
at
taking
face
it?
value. Like
Yeah.
you know how humans are. Some, not all humans, but there's this just little power hungriness, and I do think it is a jump because I wholeheartedly believe that there are most certainly people in this world now and in the past who have wanted to become God. I mean,
Yeah.
look at today's the whole golden statue of that one man. specifically.
Dude, don't even get me started. Yeah, and I think there's also plenty of people who have survived not being one, you know,
Yeah.
uh, that have
And
been just fine.
that's the thing is
Um,
like, why do you have to not be able to endure being a god for there to be no gods, right? Like it doesn't make
yeah, you,
doesn't add up to me.
And okay, and I'll play devil's advocate a little bit, but it's like the whole point is to not like cut the wheat, you know. You know, you're not supposed to be equal as everybody else, so you're supposed to achieve to become the Uberman and, you know, all this other stuff. But it feels so narcissistic to say, well, I'm not a god, so there's no God. There.
Yeah,
That,
and
you
that's the
know what I
thing.
mean?
Is that it's like it's important. Like I completely agree with the idea of like trying to better yourself and improve yourself entirely,
Right.
but to be so like angry,
Well, I'm the best. I'm a god.
yeah, to be like that, it's like yeah, I mean narcissistic, like you said, like it's like unnecessary to come to such a conclusion. I feel like,
Yeah. No, he's definitely reaching really far for this one. He's reaching up towards this guy.
but I think it's a good point to bring up because it's like you know when you read, and I think this is covered in an earlier book too. I don't know if it was Twilight of the Eyes or not, but like when you read, to not just assume whatever the author is saying is correct. You know, I think this is kind of why I bring it up. I think it's because it's like you know it's important to question what you read as well, rather than just take it for
Yeah.
face value. As much as like popular Nietzsche is in the philosophy community, it's still like
Also,
you know,
to try like the whole like debate of God is like such a hotly debated subject in philosophy, right? And I
mhm.
know a lot of this book is trying to, you know, defend his point, of course, about like there being no God kind of thing, but to try to sum it up in just those two lines, it's kind of nuts too. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
it's a little ridiculous.
It's a hella reach.
I do want to
yeah.
mention one thing about this chapter before we move on.
Well, okay. Before you do that, can I mention one last thing about this sentence we're talking about?
Hit it up.
This feels like it's like the opposite of I do not remember his name. It's in the end of Myth of Sisyphus, and Camus is breaking down all these ideals from all of these like pro-suicide philosophers. It was the guy that had like convinced himself that in order to become God, he had to kill himself.
Yeah,
It's like the flip side of that, where it's like because I am alive and I am not God, there is no God, you know, versus like there are gods and in order to become them I must not be alive. It's like a weird perversion of the same concept, you know, which I think is kind of interesting.
It's
it,
interesting.
Completely forgot about that part in Myth of Sisyphus.
It's a very good
that
like
was a good.
call out, like
Mhm.
Nah,
your
I'm
little memory
surprised.
pull
I'm a
right
little
there.
surprised you remember that too. Honestly,
I'm surprised that you of all people remembered that.
Yeah. Okay, well, I don't have much deeper analysis. I just thought it was an interesting connection.
No, that was brilliant.
I was going to talk specifically about a conversation that we had last book club or the book club before that. I don't remember which one, but it was about needing others to become the Superman or not needing others and being able to become a Superman on your own. And this one sentence specifically threw a wrench at my entire idea because I think I would not I know I was arguing for you can do it without other people, and that may have been a part of his idea, but I don't think so anymore. And specifically because he says right here, could ye create a god? Then I pray you, be silent about all gods, but ye could well create the Superman. Not perhaps ye yourselves, my brethren, but into fathers and forefathers of the Superman could ye transform yourselves, and let that be your best creating. Um,
I like
See,
that
that's
throws
what
a,
sentence.
he was getting.
just throw that wrench threw a wrench into my entire idea, and so I want to throw that out there. But also very interesting that ye cannot become a Superman.
I like the idea from well, one, I like how you brought the idea to kind of reiterate a previous point that we've kind of talked about and to kind of reinforce a certain part of it. But what I also take from this sense is kind of like, let's say someone feels like they're never going to do what their ultimate goal is, right? Which in this case is be Superman or even create the Superman. Um, he, I think it's a good point to bring up that just because you don't see yourself actually ever doing it, you should still try your hardest, because if you try your hardest, you can still achieve results that may not be the exact result you're looking for, but it could then help future generations to achieve that result that you have been trying to achieve, you know? Yeah, I think there's like multiple examples of that throughout history, right? I mean, Leonardo da Vinci, for example, with the flight, you know, obviously he didn't invent flight, but he was thinking about it and like took notes and stuff, which I'm sure helped people in the future. And so that's, I think that's a good point to bring up, is that like you should still strive for your goal, because even if you don't reach it, you'll find lessons along the way which will help others in the future achieve the goal, and you can be a forefather or father, you know?
I mean, that's all of humanity, right? Everything we've
Yeah.
ever built is just layering on top of layering on top of layering on top of layering.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was getting at, like back whenever we did the first episode. Was like, I don't think you become the Uberman in your lifetime. It's something that generationally you build towards through creating new uh, uh, uh I want to say virtues, but that's not the right word. But like new ideas. Like you go through the whole all the way to the or the infant stage, and then that's your goal, is to just create a new idea to pass along. You know?
Yeah. And it's that human generational giving, right?
Yeah.
And it's how we build up to something. So yeah, I guess the important lesson to take away from that is to like always strive for it. Um, there was one other thing I kind of saw in this chapter, but I kind of want to move on to the pitiful because I actually had a lot for this chapter. And so for the pitiful, um, it was, let me read here real quick. Preferably also do I shroud my head and flee before being recognized, and thus do I bid you do, my friends. May my destiny ever lead unafflicted ones like you across my path, and those with whom I may have hope and repast in honey in common. If this kind of part gave to me as like he doesn't want to be seen as good, because it's like here and flee before being recognized. There's some other parts of this chapter which played into that, but it gave me the idea of like, he wants to do well, he wants to do good, but at the same time, being seen as doing good makes him blush in a sense, and he doesn't like it. And I think that's like an interesting idea, which is the idea of, doing good for good's sake, right? And not trying to get a reward out of it, right? Um, but like, is it to the point so far as that like you try to literally not like try your hardest to not be seen as doing the good, you know? And it reminds me of um, the Tao Te Ching, when one of the ideas was do something, like get something done, get something great done, but don't let people think that you're the one who did it, but the people think that they were the ones who did it, right? And so I guess I just wanted to bring up this idea and like kind of ask y'all, like, is this like, is this the right idea? In the sense of like you strive to not be seen as doing good? Or do you just kind of do good and let it happen? Or do you actually like, is it better to like do good and be rewarded for your efforts? Right.
I am against the last one
Okay.
personally. Ideally, that makes more people do good, but for what cause? Because they want a reward. You want to be rewarded for your virtue, and it talks about that later in some other chapter. I forgot which one exactly. Um, I would like to think, and in my own personal opinion, the best course is just detachment of not really, I guess, just not really worrying about it. Whether people see you, whether people don't.
Yeah. Well, do you think you should
My personal
strive?
opinion. Hmm?
Well, do you think you should strive to not be seen as doing good? Like, do you think you should put effort into not being seen doing good?
Obviously, I don't want to go with the the fence sitting answer because I could always just say it depends on what what good you're doing, right?
Hmm.
But overall, generally, I personally think it's more of a just detachment thing, not really striving to not be seen or striving to be seen. Just
Follow the flow.
yeah.
I will agree with David, but in less of a fence city way, and that I think that striving to not be seen is like sounds silly, but bear with me. It's almost like performative in its own right, you know? Performing for yourself in a weird way. I feel like
Mhm.
I've expressed a similar thought before, but it's like it's almost like if you're trying to not be seen, you almost get this like secondary pat on the back after you've done the good act where it's like, oh, look at you. You did a great thing and no one noticed. Aren't you just the best? Like versus just doing the good thing. Like, I think if there's any secondary motive beyond, I think if you're doing good for the sake of anything other than doing the good, then you've lost the plot. And I think if you're only doing good for the sake of doing the good, like David said, you detach. You don't notice whether people are noticing or not. You just do it. And it ends right there. You know, um, it like it's like it's very reminiscent of like the false modesty. It's like, oh, no, it wasn't that much. Like, I didn't really put that much effort into it. When deep down they're trying so hard. It's like, dude, shit, just be proud of the fact that you like tried hard and like succeeded. That's a good thing. You shouldn't brag
Mhm.
about it, but like
Mhm.
you can say that. You can admit that you put effort into a thing. Um, I think it's the same thing. I think to like hide from your act is like it's false. You're getting you're falling to the same trap as if you were trying to get the attention by focusing more on the attention than the act itself. Because like, what's that supposed to mean? If you have the opportunity to do a good thing, but it's impossible to hide it from anybody, you're just not going to do it because people are going to see it and like
Yeah.
witness it. You know?
Yeah, like you should still do the good, regardless.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess, do you want to be Bruce Wayne or Harvey Dent?
Mm.
Think about it that way. Bruce Wayne gets a happy ending. He gets to go kick it back with Anne Hathaway in in fucking Tahiti or wherever he is. Harvey gets half his face burned off. You know? I'm
Hmm.
just saying.
This guy, he could be onto
I'm
something.
going with Bruce Wayne.
Well, this reminded me of one thing, and then Seth, you said something that reminded me of another thing. Um, right here it says, "For in seeing the sufferer's suffering, thereof was I ashamed on account of his shame. And in helping him, sorely did I wound his pride. Great obligations do not make grateful, but revengeful. And when a small kindness is not forgotten, it becometh a gnawing worm. Be shy in accepting, distinguish by accepting. Thus do I advise those who have not to bestow." And so, actually, let me continue. I, however, am a bestower. Willingly do I bestow as friend to friends. Strangers, however, and the poor may pluck for themselves the fruit from my tree. They doth it cause, thus doth it cause less shame. And so, one big idea from here is who can resent you by feeling like they owe you something. Like, in a sense, be crafty with your help. And so it reminds me of like I've been listening to the 48 Laws of Power, okay? And in a sense, it reminds me of one of these laws, one of these ideas where you basically, or like you don't make it obvious you're helping the person. You almost, in a sense, like let them figure out themselves how they can accept your help. And then you have now helped them. This makes it feel a lot less like you're obviously helping them and like be like, hey, I'm helping you. And like in a sense, by being so obvious by saying I'm helping you, it almost makes them feel obliged to help, like to return a favor or something like that. Um, and the other thing too is this chapter is called the pitiful, right? And so, like, let's say you help someone because you pity them, which this is a big part of the chapter is to not be pitiful, to not show pity. Let's say you help them because out of pity, you now, in a sense, almost hurt their pride because they could be thinking, why is this guy helping me? Like this, like why is he pitying me? Why? Like it's pretty a damaging. That feels damaging to my character and to who I am. So I think it comes to this idea, which I also heard in the 40 Laws of Power, which is kind of set the person up to receive your help. This way, it makes it feel a lot less obvious that you're helping them, and in a sense that they were able to use you to help them in a sense. So it's no longer like they're angry at you for taking full control of this help, but rather they're now grateful that like the opportunity was presented to them. And then they also feel a little bit more happy about it because they themselves are able to realize it instead of it just being handed to them, you know? And so that was one idea that made me think of.
To add on to that, that actually kind of like lines up a little bit with psychology. I was reading something a while ago that talked about how people have a misconception that the fastest way to make friends is to help people. Fastest way to make friends is actually to ask for help. Is to
Mm,
like empower people to feel like they have a value in your life rather than trying to provide value into other people's lives, you know?
I've
Um,
heard of that. I've heard of that.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
ask for a pencil or something so small and it's
they want to be your
not
friend.
important.
Well, it's true. People
yeah,
want to feel
Small
valued. People want to
favors.
feel needed, you know?
yeah,
And we live in a debt-based society. No one wants to feel like they're in debt to someone else.
exactly.
Exactly. Because then they get a little resentful, like, man, why does this guy make me owe him? You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm angry I owe this guy stuff. I'm angry I owe him something.
Hmm.
And so
I
that's the
think
thing, though, right? Don't be
yeah,
obvious.
yeah. Again, it's like attacking that idea from like both angles, right? It's like ask for help, and when you help, don't make it a big deal, you
Yeah.
know? So that
Attachment.
person, yeah, yep.
And then the other idea I thought of, Seth, while you were talking was another thing from the 40 Laws of Power, which is you're talking about, you know, putting in a lot of effort to do good, right? And,
Hmm.
in a sense, making it obvious that you're doing good because you're putting in so much effort. Um, Almost like, oh yeah, I'm doing good. You get that pat on the back. And, you know, I think it's still okay to do good and want to do good for someone, but it is a part where if you make it too obvious, the whole thing can kind of feel orchestrated and like it didn't mean anything, you know? Like let's say like you planned this whole thing, like let's say you like gave someone you grabbed a lemon from your lemon tree because this person wanted lemon, but then you use a lemon later for like some kind of dessert or something. Like you kind of already knew you were going to like use a lemon. Like it feels like you gave them a lemon, like you got them a lemon, and you plan to give them a lemon to make it seem like you're kind like that, you know. But like if like you just actually do just get them a lemon and don't use a lemon later, it makes it feel like okay, they just got me a lemon because they're nice. So it it's important to when you do good, I think, to, yes, do it for the sake of doing good, but at the same time, don't make it seem like you have a grand scheme in the works where you're trying to make the person feel like you're good, you know? Because even if you are doing good for the sake of doing good, if it makes it seem like you have a plan in place, then it makes it feel ungenuine.
It's kind of sus.
Yeah,
Get a little nervous.
What do they got going on?
Yeah, what does this mean? Me accepting this gift, you know?
exactly. Like, is there some ulterior motive here? Like, what's happening? So yeah, I mean, I just what I think it's important. It's not even much of a talking point. I don't think. I just a comment more than anything. I guess just the importance of tying it back into, I guess, a Tao, right? Where it's like, don't make it seem like let other people feel like they're doing good. Let other people feel like they've helped. Let other people feel like they've they they receive your help without knowing they've received your help. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's how people. I think it's how you avoid a lot of tough situations.
I think I don't want to hold us on this chapter for too long, but I do want to add one thing to that, which is a little outside of the philosophy of this book and more my own personal philosophy. But another thing I like to do when I'm like giving to people is like give out of convenience. And what I mean by that is not like only give when it's convenient, but I think there's an important skill of gauging like how inconvenient the help you're offering should scale with your relationship with this person. You know, like if I like my dad, he's gonna drive across the nation in a box truck to come help me move. But that makes sense. He would die for me. He's my dad. You know, like that's the bond we have. So while I'm going, like while I want to pay him back because I love him for that, there's no awkwardness or weirdness receiving that gift because it's my dad. You know, versus if like my friend who lives in Nashville was offering to do that, I would have to politely decline because it's like that is so much effort. And it's not that I don't deserve it, but it's like that's a kind of effort that breeds resentment, you know, in a way where it's like, oh, I did this big thing for this person, right? I think, and there's two sides to that. There's like number one is like understanding that, and number two is like, you're giving to someone. I think when I receive something and someone says something like, they're like, oh, I need someone to like bring this to my house, and like, oh, I'll do it. It's on the way home. It's really no big deal. Like they're still doing a nice thing to me, but it's in a weird way. It's almost like lessening how big of a deal it is. So I feel less like I need them and more that it's just like a win for everyone involved, right? And I think that's one way that you can kind of avoid that trap of doing something that feels like it has an ulterior motive. Like being able to be like, I'm doing this because I want to help you, but I'm also doing this because it makes sense. It's an easy thing to do for you, and it just help, you know, it's good for everybody. I don't
I
know if
like
that
that.
made any sense.
Yeah, it's kind of like you go out to eat, right? This might be a very simple example, but you grab forks and napkins for everybody at the table. You
Mm-hmm.
already have it all planned out because eventually someone's gonna be like, "Man, I could really use a napkin." You know, you're like,
Yeah,
"Well, they're already there." You know,
yeah.
or this person really likes salt on their food. Maybe we would put the salt shaker right there next to them. So
Hmm.
they don't have to ask someone to pass the salt. It's
Yeah.
simple stuff like that.
I think that stuff goes so much further when it comes to like building a bond with people than like grandiose acts of it's like the gift giving equivalent of love bombing, you know. You can't just like suddenly give someone a ton of gifts and go like out of your way to like do everything for them. It's a weird situation to be in, you
Yeah. Well, and how many times have you guys heard this? Can you get me some water?
know. Mhm.
Hmm.
Anytime you go get some water, just get a cup of water.
Yeah.
Another one.
Someone
Like,
will drink it.
yeah, just grab two, you
Yeah,
know?
that's a good
Or
idea,
if you're
actually.
going into a room and you know that person's gonna be in there, I'm not gonna say who, but if that person's gonna be in that room, maybe grab a cup of water just in case. Then they don't have to ask you, and then you're not like, "Oh my God, I always have to get you water," because you're
Mhm.
having that one bad day, Or like, get it yourself. Just
Yeah.
like, just get her a couple.
Simple stuff. I know y'all said you didn't want to harp on this chapter too much, but I kind of want to shift the conversation a little bit on this chapter because I think there's a big thing that was mentioned here. It wasn't, I don't know how many sentences it was. It was a little bit, but it's an interesting idea, and it was the original sin that he imposed of people, and it was that man has enjoyed himself too little.
Mm,
So my question to y'all is in this context, what does it mean to enjoy yourselves? And specifically in this sentence that I'm about to read, what does it mean to contrive pain? And the sentence or the passage paragraph I'm thinking of is right here. Since humanity came into being, man hath enjoyed himself too little. That alone, my brethren, is our original sin. And when we learn better to enjoy ourselves, then do we unlearn best to give pain unto others and to contrive pain. Because when I think of contriving pain, I'm thinking of creating pain, of something, of meaningfully or making something happen, purposefully making something happen.
yeah.
So what does that mean to y'all? What do y'all think about it?
To me, I see it as it's like the idea of like a bully, for example, who takes out his own pain on others, causing pain because they're in pain kind of deal.
Mhm.
And I see it as, him saying that, if you start enjoying life a bit more, if like life is more enjoyable, it's easier for you to spread joy to others than it is to spread negativity and pain. Um, like making fun of someone or bullying them or whatnot. It's like that idea of the chain reaction of kind actions. You do something kind for someone, they pass it along, they pass it along. And when you're in a more joyous state, it causes you to be kinder to others, be more spread the joy to others, I think. I think that's kind of what he's going for here.
Is that what you think the enjoying man enjoying themselves too little?
Yeah, I think, well, like a lot of his whole part of being upset with like Christianity and such is that he views it as people being ashamed with themselves, so they go towards this more heavenly place. And it forces them to face their shame and in a sense and be ashamed and just kind of be ashamed of themselves because they do all these things. Um, and I think that's where it ties into it, where you aren't getting to enjoy yourself because you're too busy being ashamed with yourself and putting negativity on yourself from his point of view.
I took it, and this might speak volumes to man not enjoying himself. But I instantly thought of work. Um, my first thought was, oh my God, I'm on call this weekend. I don't like working here anymore. I quit. Because it's happened twice now, and both times I've had to cover those weekends. And that to me is spreading pain onto others, and making me not enjoy my life because you're not enjoying your life. So that was my thought process.
Connor talked about that like he's seen war, bro. That
I
was
No,
could
like
hear the
actually,
tiredness coming out of his
yeah.
the
voice.
exhaustion.
That was a tough one. I've never thought about that though. Like it's in a weird way, it's like I always hear it as like you can only give from the overflow of your cup, right? You gotta keep yourself full before you can spread to others. But I didn't think about like your own inner joy, and it's that the way that increases your capacity to endure difficult things. In a weird way, I feel like, I mean, like myth of Sisyphus, right? Life, you're supposed to enjoy the suffering. I think if we look at how that idea affects society, there's kind of this contract that I think a lot of us don't really talk about out loud, but is in the back of our heads where it's like, I go do this miserable thing so that other people's lives are less miserable, right? That's the contract, and I get paid for it as a side effect, as the exchange. Um, and so if you have no ability to endure those difficult times, Zarathustra is saying in this chapter, you can't really contribute in the way that enduring difficult things contributes to everything around you. Like Connor going up on that roof and fixing that unit, man, that sucks. That's hard, but he's doing it so that I can sit my butt in this chair and be chilling.
Honor is
And
contriving the pain.
yeah, he is taking on pain so that people like me don't have to on a hot Houston summer day, right?
Yeah.
And we don't have to delve too deep into this, but I think that's why some people are so miserable at their jobs, because they're like, I'm enduring misery and only causing misery. Like, that's what I would think if I worked at like an if I worked on like building algorithms for ad agencies. I'd be like, I'm going here and this kind of sucks, and all I'm doing is like making everyone else's life like suck more. Like, that I couldn't do that. It'd be very hard for me to wake up in the morning. Like, one of the things that gets me out of bed is knowing that the miserable time I'm about to have at work is at least making somebody else's day better,
That's such a good point. Like, and then yeah, the ad agency is such a good example. Like, any viewers out there that work at an ad agency, I'm so sorry for what I'm about to say, but like and then the fact that like if people don't want to see ads, they have to spend more money to
Mhm.
not see ads or like get ad blocker, anything like that, just to not see your work. Like, God,
Yeah.
that sucks. That
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
Happiness extraction versus happiness creation. Awful.
So you're
Uh,
doing the Lord's work, Connor.
well,
Boy,
and I
that's
think part of it too is you in a sense have to enjoy that
Mhm.
because you have to enjoy what you do to a certain extent that, enjoying helping people, for example, or else you're just not going to do it, right? I mean, and if
Yeah.
you're not going to do it, then other people are now in pain because you aren't going through the pain yourself as well.
Mhm.
Um, I personally don't really have anything for the next two chapters until like the tarantulas. I mean, a lot of it, the priests, the virtuous, the rabble. I think a lot of it is just him hating on the same groups that he usually hates on,
mhm.
and it's
I
a
think
lot
the
of
Does
this.
that
virtue.
include does that
Yeah,
include women?
I don't think women were in any of those three chapters actually. So no, not this time.
Not this
Um,
time. Not yet. Not
yeah,
yet.
not yet.
No, we haven't gotten
That
there.
Yeah.
that whole women chapter is hard to top. It's really hard to
He really laid it out there. He just like
Yeah,
said
that
Yeah,
what he's all
was
about.
I don't know how he could quote unquote improve on that.
yeah, that was a tough one. Um,
Uh,
I don't know how he gets goes from there, but yeah. So I don't really have anything too much unless y'all do. I think it's a lot of just like the priest, especially, right? I mean, it's in the name. Like he
mhm.
just hates on Christianity. I think in the virtuous, he kind of did a little bit of the same. The rabble was just hating on was him hating on the like general population. Um,
Did like how he put 3 different types of people in the rabble.
you want to
Yeah.
discuss?
With the
It wasn't anything too crazy. It's just his 3 different examples. It was what the turned away from life, uh, then the goes into the wilderness, the loner. So I guess the
Mm,
depressed, the loner, and then the destroyer.
I feel like we
I
kind of
think
talked something similar about that before too, though, right? I want to say, like at the beginning of this book, like people who like don't bring anything to society because they just choose pure isolation. For example,
Yeah,
pure
wasn't it
yeah,
seclusion.
his like
yeah.
beef with the old man at the very beginning? Which is
Yeah.
ironic because hasn't he been a loner for like
Yeah, he went back
Yeah,
years?
into
like,
seclusion, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
so
And now he's
it-
like, all those loners out there?
yeah, we need to discuss the distinction between a hermit and a loner.
Yeah.
What is the difference?
Yeah. The hermit, that's what it was. He ate on the hermit. I think it's like a sentence with the hermit in
Hmm.
there.
He knows from experience. That's why.
Yeah, clearly.
I guess he's vindicated because he came back to society to drop hot knowledge on him. Like, does that just
He
makes it
like
okay in the end?
he like comes and goes. He's like, all right, I'm gonna be secluded for like 10 years. Comes back. All right, let me help you all that back out again. Drop some
Yeah,
knowledge dips.
yeah. Which, by the way, if I'm the townspeople, I hate this guy. It's like, bro, you haven't been around. You don't know what we're going through,
You
bro.
don't
No,
Like,
like
know.
actually,
like you haven't been here for the last 3 elections. Like, and you're gonna come here and tell me I'm doing it all wrong. Like, dude, like, that would piss me off.
That's
Awesome.
hilarious. Yeah, that was kind of all I had for the rabble.
okay.
Virtuous, we already talked about that pretty much. Doing good for the sake of
Yeah. Okay. I'll talk a little bit about the tarantulas. Okay. I'm just gonna read like little bits and pieces. Lo, this is the tarantulas then. Wouldst thou see the tarantulas itself? Here hangeth its web, touchless, so that I may tremble. There cometh the tarantula winningly. Welcome, tarantula. Black on thy back is thy triangle and symbol. I know also what is in thy soul. Revenge is in thy soul, wherever thou bitest. There arises black scab, with revenge and poison maketh the soul giddy. Scroll along. Because for man to be redeemed from revenge, that is for me the bridge to the highest hope, and a rainbow after long storms. A little bit long. Inspired ones they resemble, but it is not the heart that inspireth them, but vengeance. And when they become subtle and cold, it is not spirit, but envy, that maketh them so. But thus do I counsel you, my friends, distrust all in whom the impulse to punish is powerful. And so it's really just a quick point. It's just kind of the idea that like revenge is bad, you know, don't fall out of revenge. I mean, and that leads into this other idea that I really like, or just keeping the calm mind in like all times. You know, someone if you feel like someone's dishonored you, it's important to remain calm. It in a sense can even turn into a backfire on the other person. Um, this is a good example with Napoleon. Uh, Napoleon and Talleyrand. When Talleyrand was like one of his top ministers, who just really an ingenious fellow. Um, And so, like, Talleyrand was planning with someone else. I forgot who. Oh, shoot, I forgot who. The name was there and it's gone. But he was planning with someone else on, like, this overthrow plot for Napoleon. Okay, it was like towards the end of Napoleon's reign. Um, and Napoleon found out, and he like started just brought all of his ministers in, started like a little speech, and started like berating Talleyrand. And Talleyrand, rather than like fighting back angrily, just kind of stood there, smiled at him, remained calm and chill, and all this stuff. Whereas Napoleon really kind of almost out of vengeance in a sense for feeling betrayed and scared, showed this absolute meltdown, which caused everyone around him, and obviously this meltdown went out, which caused him to look weaker and like a child and like very just like he couldn't even control himself, and the man looked weak and all that stuff. And through this revenge spirit, it made Napoleon worse off in the long run. Even though he tried to like scare Talleyrand into the overthrow not happening, it actually had the backfire effect of him looking worse off. Whereas Talleyrand, rather than clearly showing his vengeance, if he even had vengeance at all, I think he was really just looking out for the sake of France because he saw Napoleon was getting weaker as a leader. Um, remained calm the entire time, and as a
And not only
result,
that,
yes, Connor,
Talleyrand ends up becoming the most powerful man in France like 10 years later.
yeah. So by keeping calm and not seeking for the sake of vengeance, obviously going for vengeance is the long, like it's like a lesson almost to never go for vengeance because it never makes you feel as good. It bites you in the butt. And it makes people hate you. It just adds more hate to the world, spreads more. But even on a personal level too, it can provide a lot of benefit to you to not do such a thing, and to always remain calm. It's kind of my point. So this is
Something that
something I want to bring up.
I want to
I
make
want
sure that we don't let Howie get away with the fact that while reading a book, while reading a book, he said, "Scroll on down
I heard it
to
too.
get to the next quote."
I mean, my eyes are scrolling the pages. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Yeah, all right, pal.
all right.
No,
I was
he's
gonna
actually
say,
reading all of his notes from a scroll.
Oh,
Uh,
that would be. Imagine I say that, and he's like, "Well then," and it pulls
Let me
up
show
like
you my scroll.
the ancient parchment. That would go
I
crazy.
think you couldn't come back from that on
No, no,
honesty.
You can't
that's a
talk ever
loss.
again.
No, yeah. Muted the rest of the episode.
I wanted to mention real fast that kind of just to add on to your point of not only revenge but vengeance in the sake of equality or for the sake of equality is
eye for an
also a
eye kind
big
of thing.
thing that I got harped on to this that I harped on in this chapter.
You want to
It's kind of all I had to say
divulge?
though. Yeah, that's I'm not gonna. Connor, you said you kind of had the same idea. On to you, buddy.
Okay.
Well,
I,
I mean, I think I'll say like it just doesn't work, right? Like you never get even.
Man is never truly equal
You never
in the
get
that's
sense
even.
just the
of
truth.
ability.
Yeah,
It's the
because it's
truth.
like the revenge is always perceived as the person getting revenged on as too far, and now they gotta pack it up and show their revenge. I think of The Sopranos has a lot of that vibe where it's like, well, you killed this guy, so we're gonna kill this guy, and it's like, well, I did kill that guy, but it was fair game. The kill you did was so backhanded, so I'm gonna kill this even more important guy, and it just like slowly moves up. Like there's no equality, there's no ending, there's no point where you get revenge, and the person that gets revenged on goes, "Good
Yeah, that was
game,
enough.
yeah, game,
Yeah.
fair play." That doesn't happen. There's nothing fair about vengeance.
It reminds me of something because I've been trying to get on my Viking history recently, and it reminds
Hmm.
me something about like something in Icelandic history, like at the start of Vikings going to Iceland, where like there's like I forgot what the name of it was, but it's kind of like a ritual in a sense. Like if like you felt like somewhat slighted by some person, you now can start this familial pact where now your family is just hated towards their family for like all time, and even to a
Yes.
sense of like almost trying to like kill each other all the time, and just like these nothing burger turned into just the most extreme thing out of pure vengeance that just like ends in people just suffering instead of like just being friends and like just
The
getting over.
cycle of violence, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Dude,
dude.
sorry, this is
That's
vengeance
kind of
saga.
off topic. Yeah, kind of off topic, kind of on the same topic, but like the whole discovery of like Iceland and Greece and Greenland, I almost said Greeceland, and Greenland is so fascinating with like Eric the Red killing someone in like Norway or Denmark or whatever, and then finding Iceland, naming it Iceland so no one would come because it's not green, and then killing another dude over there, and then having it go to another part of the island, and then his son Leif Erikson finding Greenland. So funny. So it's so. I mean, poor guy that died, but it's over. It's come on, guys.
They're all dead at this point, right, Connor?
yeah.
But yeah, it's so funny.
Well, on to the famous wise ones. Does anyone have
Oh,
anything big from this one?
Tag yourself.
Tag myself. Is that what you said?
Yeah, as a famous wise one.
I don't think you want to be a famous wise one in this
In
instance.
this, yeah, and in the way he's describing it.
I feel like when he names a thing at the top of the chapter, it usually means that thing bad,
Yeah.
Yeah,
like 90% of the time.
I
Well,
kind of got from this wise ones are shallow.
got it. One of the things that I kind of really saw a relation with was the myth of Sisyphus, where he like mentioned like all these philosophers who just denounce religion just to have a religious belief in the end anyways, like deifying logic, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what it gave me vibes. I mean, obviously, he's targeting Christianity, but like that's what he always does. But like it reminded me of like that in Myth Sisyphus, where he's basically saying like all these famous wise ones, like eventually falling back into religion, yet they like tried to be famous and wise and go against. And obviously, he's like religion's dumb. So if you're famous and wise, why would you do that? But I think the you take away from that more of an objective standpoint, which I think the myth of Sisyphus gave, which is a really interesting idea of philosophers and people, wise ones always trying to denounce some kind of spiritual thing just to fall back into it. And,
Mm-hmm.
that's just what this reminded me of. And it's something they even really talk about. I just thought it was like super interesting. I think the more important thing to talk about is like the importance of staying true to your values and not falling out of them, right? Not succumbing to the general belief. And I don't know, what do you guys think about like, you know, is it inevitable to fall to the general belief just because of the pressure? And like, if so, like, if not, like, how it's like hard is it really to stay true to your own values?
This is my thing, is if you fall out of your values, I don't think they were truly your values. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Yes.
Because you never fully believed in them, then, right?
It's like that
Exactly.
quote that was said earlier. You have to be able to question, not be worried about
Yeah.
questioning your value or your thoughts because you have a lot of faith in them.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey,
okay, yeah, go
this
Seth.
kind of I have an interesting question, or at least I think it's interesting. Maybe it's really boring.
I'll let
But
you
Find
know.
out.
yeah, so I'm thinking about falling back on your values because at first glance, Connor, I like your statement, but there's also parts of it that I don't like. Mainly like it takes time for values to solidify, right? So you might fall short a couple times, or like what if you like establish a value and then you find out this value's dumb and I shouldn't be doing this, right? So like, which I think you weren't saying that you have to be like rigid and locked in. Like I think you're someone who's definitely a fan of people being able to change. But maybe think, right? People should be able to like investigate their own thoughts and change their mind and move to a different way, right? But then there's people who seem to change their mind all the time and they have like no consistency. And those people are almost if as frustrating, if not more frustrating than the people who are so stubborn in their beliefs they don't move at all. Like at least the person who doesn't move at all, I can know what they're thinking
Yeah,
or where
Very
they're
true.
going, right?
no one likes bandwagons.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
my question is what's the right amount of change, flexibility? How do you know? How do you know when you're being too wishy-washy, when you're being too stubborn?
Well, do you think that it comes down to an evolution of your beliefs, right? Where, you realize that this aspect of your values beliefs is not correct or not, at least not, didn't truly align with you. And a person says something and it makes you like realize that, you know what? It comes down to thinking about it, I think. Like not just brushing off everything, but actually thinking about what other people say. And then if you realize that, it's something that can apply to your beliefs, that's more correct in a sense, and you allow your beliefs to evolve with it. Or values are always changing. We're always growing as people. I think it is acceptable to fully erase something because you found something, a different value that aligns more so with what you want as a person. So I think it comes with like just evolving, but still aligning with who you are,
Yeah. Yeah. it's almost like someone is like, oh, this is fucked up. Then you're just like, yeah, this is fucked up for sure. You know, like don't even like look or at it or anything like that. I'm trying to be so just like generic with this, but this is hard. Whereas like, fuck it, I'm using a work example. Like, let's say someone fucks up at work, right? Um, your boss is like, receives a boss from his boss. He's like, and then they're like, this guy fucked up. And then your boss is just like, okay, this guy fucked up. Hey, you fucked up. You know, that's not the right path. In my opinion, it should be like, hey, this guy fucked up. Well, okay, hold on. What happened? Let me call him. Let me see what happened. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that to me kind of like transferred over to a belief system, I guess, is like how it should be tested. You know, like test your beliefs. Um, Kind of like how he's telling us to do it, but if they're proven wrong, then your belief should change. If not, don't just follow the group and just say, "Oh, this guy fucked up. Okay, you fucked up." Well,
Yeah.
no, I didn't fuck up. This is what happened. Okay, he didn't fuck up. This is what happened. And then it just becomes this back and forth thing. You know what I mean?
But don't go, this guy fucked up, and then go, no, and hang up
Yeah.
the phone. You know, like
It's
there's like a
important.
basic
Yeah.
level of investigation, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
should be
It's
a
important to
basic
look
level.
into
That's
it.
what I'm getting at. There should be a basic level of investigation.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say that to me, too wishy-washy is words and actions. And I think adding the actions aspect to what is too wishy-washy and establishing your values and what is being too stubborn is a very important aspect to think about in the sense
I love this,
that,
David.
huh?
I love this. Keep going. I
Yeah,
like where you're going.
in the sense that it's okay to change your values if you really actually change them in the sense of in your actions. Your actions are, it's just basics. Actions are louder than words. They always will be. And being, changing that day to day is I think would be a good balance of you actually practicing that value instead of just switching over to it.
Mm-hmm. His actions are slower, right? Like, but words are instant.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I can say whatever I want whenever I want, like boom, no effort, no anything. Which allows me to be a lot more flexible with them, right? But your actions, it's like, for instance, counselor back when I was in counseling, uh, one of his values was leave a place better than you found it. That's cool, right? But there's so many places you walk in every day, you can't improve anything. Like it's already great. It's already perfect. You know, it takes a while to run into a situation where it's like, oh, somebody dropped that trash. Let me just pick it up and put it in the trash. You know? And it's something small, but in a weird way, it's like that value didn't gain a hold until you did it, you know? Um, and I think the other side is like actions are slower so that you have to be given an opportunity to actually make the decision. Um, and it requires thought and effort. Actions have consequences. Not that words don't, but actions tend to have more permanent, you know, results.
I
Um,
like this.
and then uh, on top of that, actions can be instinct. And I think that's really when you think of actions speak louder than words. I think that's what a lot of people are thinking. Words words can be instinctual, but a lot of times they're not. A lot of
Hmm.
times they've gone through the filter of the brain, right? But in a split second situation, your actions they bypass that filter, they just happen. And I think those are the moments where you look at somebody and go, that's their character. You know, the moment was upon them, and this is what their instinct, what the deep parts of their brain that didn't get filtered chose to do. So I think your point was really good, David, about how you hear people say like values, but like have they actually set in your being yet?
I love your expansion on that.
Fantastic.
And I think that
I
really
love that.
shows the belief of the person, like your true beliefs as a person. Like you said, Seth, it shows their true character. And so as a result, their actions in a way reinforce their true values. And that's kind of how you know who you are and how other people know who you are as a person too. But sometimes I think that can change. I think you can change your instincts. I mean, Nietzsche talks about it a lot too,
100.
where like innocence, turn your instincts to an innocent type
But
of
that's
thing.
how you know your instinct is actually changing. Your value has actually washy aspect. There's no
Yeah,
wishy-washy aspect in it.
Yeah.
in the instinct, yeah. And I guess that's the goal, right? Like if you have a new value, your goal should be for it to become an instinct. Which I'm pretty sure that was a thing we talked about earlier in this chapter as well, about, or not this chapter, this book, about the idea of passions as like having one value and that passions as values, where it's
Hmm.
like passions definitely feel like a more instinctual thing, you know?
Yeah. Passion
Um,
should be a virtue, not a vice.
yeah, virtues. Thank you. Yes. Virtues versus values. I remember now.
Well, we're on to the
Connor had something to say,
songs.
and I wanted to hear.
Okay, Connor, what you got?
Dude, I lost it.
Ah,
Oh,
Dang it.
no. He was
No.
nibbling.
Connor always be spinning bars too, man.
No.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, you know me.
assert yourself, Connor.
Yeah, Connor. What I said was dumb compared with what you were going to say.
All right, well, let's not. It wasn't dumb, Howie. Let's not do
How we
that.
really want to hear. We
I wanted to
want
hear what
to
Connor had to
bad.
say, bro.
To bad.
All right. Well, okay. We're going to move on to the songs, Connor. Maybe you can sing us a little tidbit.
I think it was
No,
a
Seth's
sea
the singer.
shanty.
I'm
That's
the
the
singer.
dancer.
Oh, Seth is a dancer. Oh,
He's
Seth,
a singer dancer.
have you heard of the Night Song, Seth?
No. I know I have more to say about the dance song,
We'll get to the dance song. The only
for
thing
sure.
I think the Night Song was more of Zarathustra struggling with his own thoughts and feelings, kind of making him seem more human in a sense.
Hmm.
What I got from the Night Song was like him talking about the destruction of one who always gives, because people will always usually take, and he wishes that he could take as well, like have his own. He could get something, you know. And I think it's just
Hmm.
him struggling with that, the idea of like, you know, it sucks to always give and to never take yourself, because some people take advantage of that. Um, and I think that this part was just kind of like a way to like help people who do give a lot of the time rather than take, kind of feel more comfortable, feel more like someone else is going through the same thoughts and feelings too, you know?
Hmm.
But yeah, I think that's just kind of what a lot of the song was. Those evening thoughts,
I
thoughts
wanted
past
to
7
say
p.m.
this is. I'll let Connor go.
I was just gonna say, I am a firm believer that it is possible to give too much.
I agree. I think you
Some
can.
people will take it.
So I think
But
it's important to like, because some people need it, need things. Like some people just need help, right? But they can need too much help is the issue. When you do in ghost situations, you're just like, I don't want to say give up on them because that sounds a little mean, but like, you know what I'm trying to say?
yeah,
Give
no,
up on them.
I
Give up on them.
feel so bad, dude. Like I keep on bringing work exam. I work too much. Uh, but literally, like new guys come in and they start right. They need help. They're running their service calls. They're like they still don't know their place in the company in the world. What is the butt end of a unit and what's the front end, right? So they call me or they call someone else and they'll ask questions, looking for answers. That's fine. I'm willing to help. If you call me 6 times in one day, you got to start thinking yourself, man. You got to start to just be like, okay, maybe I've called him too many times. Like, maybe this is bad, Like, I'm doing my own shit. I'm willing to help, and I'm still gonna pick up the fucking phone. But at the same time, if you're asking me, well, how do you adjust a blower belt? Like, dude, come on. I know I've told you how to do this, you know, or
That's
shit
basic
like
stuff.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, I think
it just irks me.
I do not think this solves your work exam, Connor. So apologize in advance. But I think the play is not to necessarily give up, but hopefully point them in the direction of someone or something that can help, that can provide what you can't. Um, like a good example is telling someone they should consider going to therapy. I think there's a big stigma about that, and I think sometimes people say that and they're being mean.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I think
Like you
sometimes
need some
people are
help.
saying that. Yeah, yeah, and they're
Like they're
being mean.
judging.
But
They're
I,
judging.
but
Yeah.
I think there is a way you can be like, to be completely honest with you, I am unequipped to handle the struggle you're going through right now. You know, I'm unequipped to help you deal with the grievance of, losing your wife, something like that, right? There are people who have studied and are professionals, unfortunately, maybe not unfortunately, but and they get paid to do what I cannot provide you, and it's like that's I think that is better than going, I can't handle you right now, goodbye, you know
Yeah, that's a good point.
admitting like, hey, I'm not. I chose a very contentious example. Admitting like, I don't have what it takes to solve your problem or help you right now, but this is something or someone that could.
I like that. By trying to
That's a
point
good
them
example.
into someone else or
So
point them in
next
the right
time
direction.
somebody hits you up, Connor, tell them to Google it.
Hey, man, you need some professional help.
I was gonna say,
You
I
need to
thought
go to
David was about to
therapy.
say, next time some rookie calls you the sixth time, tell him to go to therapy.
No.
That's very
Honestly,
funny.
it's not too bad. I've only gotten one phone call once where someone called me and he was going on a service call, his first service call. He was like, "Hey man, I need some help with this unit. It's not cooling." I was like, "All right, well, what have you checked so far?" He's like, "Well, actually, I haven't gotten there. I'm still like going up to the roof right now." I was like, I
Bro.
just hung up on him. I was like,
I mean, like, yeah. Well, sometimes you gotta be thrown into the lion's den, Sometimes you gotta be
No,
thrown out of the
sometimes you
bird's
do.
nest,
Sometimes
for
it's
sure.
necessary.
I was like,
That's the only
dude,
way you can help
ain't
people
no way.
grow,
Get your footing.
for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
that's funny.
All I was
That's
gonna
very
say about the
funny.
night song, and this is just I just enjoy this from a reading standpoint, but normally in my brain, hot is good, cold is bad. But in this instant, it was reverse. I just found that was fun.
well,
Pretty good.
the dance
That was
song,
just from a literature standpoint. Yeah.
apparently y'all have a lot to talk about the dance song. I got like nothing to talk about, so I'm gonna let
Yeah,
y'all
no,
run
dude.
with it.
Most of these went over my head, so please
I thought it was
enlighten
just,
me.
I thought, like, in my perspective, the dance song was literally just Zarathustra be like, no, I like fun. So,
No,
Like something to
no,
do with
no,
wisdom
no.
and the wisdom of the
oh, comparing wisdom and life.
There's
Okay,
there's something with wisdom in here. I'm sure
something
of
with
it.
wisdom, man. Something
comparing
about
wisdom and
wisdom
life was
being
kind of cool.
good.
I agree with that. Wisdom and life comparison was kind of cool, but I don't know. I didn't have too much.
There
In
was
this
a
philosophy
deeper
book, this chapter had some wisdom in it. I'm sure of it.
there was something about wisdom that was more I could have expanded on in my brain, but I did not.
I
Well, okay.
think
I'm just gonna talk through.
Howie and I both just got at an intersection, and I started moving forward, and then he started moving forward, so we both stopped, and then he waved me forward, but then I waved him forward, and then he waved me back, and now nobody knows who's going. That's what just happened conversationally.
I think you have better than what I have, so you go.
Okay, awesome.
Lots of pressure.
I thought this is interesting for a couple reasons. Number one is obviously the comparison of wisdom and life. I feel like this touches on like a core like experience where it's like sometimes you have to learn the hard way. You know, sometimes you gain wisdom not because you're looking for it, but because it happens to you. You know, sometimes you learn a lesson because life says, fuck you.
There's a limit.
And you got to figure out what to do about it. And I think that's really interesting because it kind of like attacks these two ways in which you can learn and grow. And I think the interesting part is how he's talking to life, but he never gets to talk to wisdom. And it kind of goes to show that like wisdom is this eternal thing that you're constantly searching for, that you'll never really find, where life is in front of you happening, right? But they can both do the same thing for you. And they can both take the same things from you. So the other part of this that I think was interesting is kind of this perception of wisdom as this flirtatious woman, you know, that you never really get to see or talk to. I do want to bring attention to the fact that he just couldn't resist the opportunity to say, perhaps she is wicked and false and altogether a woman. He just had to take that pot shot. He couldn't help himself.
Man, the 1900s sure
He
were
could not help
something.
himself now.
But then he says, but when she speaketh ill of herself, just then doth she seduce most. And in a weird way, it's kind of like, what does that mean, right? Do you guys think when people talk badly about wisdom, or when quote unquote wisdom, which is, you know, let's be real, that's kind of why we're reading this, right? We're little wisdom seekers. That's our goal here.
Little wisdom,
You,
guys.
I know Connor's a little
yeah,
wisdom guy.
little wise guy.
Yeah, a little cutie up there.
Still wants to hear that one.
Gassing me up all night, gang. Howie,
You
we
guys
agreed not in the Discord.
Save it for Civ, guys.
Gotta hype my
Yeah.
boys up, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I know what you're saying.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, do you think when
David,
people
don't think I'm
talk,
leaving you out.
Ah,
there's enough love for everybody.
Ah, shucks, Howie.
Yeah,
David
you little
might get
cutie
enough
up there in the
for
top right.
You're still getting crushed in Civ, bro. Like, I'm still gonna destroy you. I know you're being all nice, but just want you to know.
I'm still
Guys,
taking all your money.
guys, since I'm so nice, you should all open borders with me.
I'll open borders with you.
See, there we go. It works.
Did you just
It
say
works.
since I've been so nice? You're like,
Yeah.
Seeking rewards for your virtue, huh?
No,
Yeah.
I'm just trying. I am just trying to let y'all
doing
know.
it in public too on a recorded podcast. Like,
I'm
wow.
just trying to let y'all know how appreciative I am of you all being cuties.
Oh,
Howie,
that's
you
sweet.
should have. You should have led with, help me by opening your borders. You know,
There you go. There you
No,
go.
that's a good. Guys, I need help.
So true.
Get out.
I really need help.
Oh, man. But anyways, oh no, now I'm choking to death.
It's okay. I wanted to say one thing. When you said I needed help, I was about to say, I'm gonna send you to therapy.
Do you guys think when people talk badly about wisdom, or when people are like, philosophy's dumb, why are you overthinking? Why do you think so much? You think that makes you want it more?
I think it's a
Want it
matter.
less, not affect you?
I think it's a matter of like this is kind of like the only way my brain wraps around it. But it's like if you're thinking like life sucks, you almost want more of life. You know what I'm saying? You want to get something better out of life. And I think I can transfer to wisdom too, where it's like, man, my wisdom sucks. I know nothing. So then you try to get
Mm,
more of it, you know?
okay.
The feeling of nothingness makes you want it in abundance.
My answer to your question was gonna be personally. That's something I've never really thought of until now, but because I don't feel like I've ever really heard anybody harp on wisdom. But it would be less of changing the way I think of wisdom and what I think about, or if I want it more, and more about just changing my view of the person who just said that.
Yeah, I see. Doesn't really affect you. It's more just information.
Hmm.
Well, I'll reframe it. Instead of harping on the idea of wisdom, harping on an idea that you think is wise.
Okay, that does change it a little bit.
Because now instead of just being like, yeah, being smart is dumb, um, they're like contending with you in the realm of ideas.
Yeah, that would definitely probably push me more into my thought, but I should be wary about being too stubborn. And this is
Right.
just no for myself. Because I know it
Mhm.
would push me further into wanting to prove my idea. Because I mean, I'm a fucking human. It happens, man.
Yeah.
So little
Yeah,
footnote for myself. Be weary
yeah.
of that.
Every conversation is a competition in some regard, or not a conversation, but a
hmm
debate. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah. And
Hmm.
in this one, I'm winning, baby. Booyah! Ding, ding, ding. Sorry.
You asked a question.
I know.
Dude,
I couldn't help myself. I
I
couldn't
know,
help
I
I
know.
myself.
I retract every nice thing I've said about Seth.
So can Seth be number 4 now, or like?
No, no, I'm the
No.
swamp. I'm swamp. Can't go back.
Look at the fear in his eyes. I know it brings you
That
joy, Howie.
I'll have to think about this one actually.
Hey.
You raise a good point, David.
I'll
Um,
open my borders.
Uh,
Oh man.
that's funny.
But anyways, Connor, about conversation.
No, I think I'm like the same kind of perspective is like, yeah, you're gonna want to defend your perspective, right? Your idea. But because that goes back to the whole thing where your perspective should be able to be tested anyways. But and you should be able to stand by your idea if it is a correct idea, but then not also being too stubborn to the point where you're not willing to accept that your idea is false. So it's kind of just everything
yeah,
we've already been saying. I think
yeah,
I've been pretty good about that throughout my life. Like I'm not like a oh, you believe this? I believe that too kind of person. And I'm not a oh, you believe this? Well, I believe this and you're an idiot and don't ever talk to me again kind of person.
Dumb,
I think
stupid
I'm a good
tomato nose.
middle ground. Yeah. Stupid
yeah.
freaking poopy face tomato nose.
Just want you to know that was an old middle school callback just now.
No, okay. I'm with the listeners on this one then, as I don't know what the heck you're talking about. Um, well, the Grave song,
The grave song.
something to end the night on. So I took this as part of his journey again, where he basically had all of his followers start getting. At first, I thought like they were literally killed, but now,
That's exactly how I took it.
but then I kind of sort of start to realize that I think it's actually more so they got converted away from their beliefs or like his beliefs in a sense. Um,
They've been
And
misguided.
yeah, so they've been misguided, and now he's like in a state of depression. But then he from his own willpower decides not to give up and continue pushing forward, despite all the ones he's cared about, seeing them be crushed in this war of beliefs and values and taken away from him. And if no one else has anything to add to that, I can read this last little part to end it off. So be it. Thus spoke Zarathustra, am I right?
Rip it.
Um,
Yeah.
how did I ever bear it? How did I survive and surmount such wounds? How did my soul rise again out of these sepulchre? Okay.
Sepulchers.
Sepulcher. How did I ever bear it? How did I survive and surmount each wounds? How did my soul rise again out of these sepulchers? Yeah, something invulnerable, unburiable is with me. Something that would rend rocks asunder. It is called my will. Silently doth it proceed, and then change throughout the years. Its course will go upon my feet, mine old will. Heart of heart is its nature and invulnerable. Invulnerable am I only in my heel. Ever livest thou there, and art like thyself, thou most patient one. Ever hast thou burst all shackles of the tomb. Is thee still liveth also the unrealizedness of my youth? And as life and youth sittest thou here hopeful in the yellow ruins of graves. Yeah, thou art still for me the demolisher of all graves. Hail to thee, my will, and only where there are graves are there resurrections. Thus sang Zarathustra. Dude, and only where there are graves are there resurrections? Bar,
Fire. Fire.
Do you
bar.
think
Okay.
this
From
would
the
be saying
ashes.
like slam rap?
Yeah, dude, he
Yeah,
sang that.
yeah,
Sang
yeah,
that
that's
shit.
a song.
That's like I'm thinking how this would be saying, you know?
He
When I was
he's
reading the
singing it.
songs, I was trying to have a shanty, but I just couldn't find something that
It
It
just
doesn't have a
Chet,
good
well
rhythm.
with the
no.
old
Chet,
language too. It
you're a
just kind
musician.
of
Okay?
Yeah.
You have experience with this. I task you with making this last bar here into a song.
I want to feel inspired. So if I want to feel inspired to never give up and always get back up when I'm knocked down, when I go through failures, have my virtue
You got one
defeated. I want
shot.
to get back up.
One shot. Don't mess it up.
One shot, one opportunity.
Will you
The whole
capture
last
it
sentence.
or just let it slip?
Yea, thou art still for me, the demolisher of all graves. Hail to thee, my will, and only where there are graves are there resurrections. Fuck.
Oh, there's an
Oh,
effort, that's for
beautiful.
sure.
Incredible.
That was an outstanding.
Thanks, Tanner.
Never heard
It's
anything like it.
hard, dude.
No, there's no.
No, I know. I know.
I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna have it lightning fast. I'm gonna have it nailed
I
with
can't wait.
our next club.
Our
Oh,
next
you got
one's
a
gonna be
lot.
in
That
three
line,
You got like
weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I
yeah.
have so much time.
you have a lot.
Hey,
It's
just
totally not
do
you who's busy for the next 3 weeks or anything.
just do all three songs. You do a song a week.
One song a week.
Yeah, yeah,
While you're in the car, you
Oh,
got time.
we
yeah.
start the episode with me singing all three songs.
That's the introduction.
Yeah, and you don't ask about my week. Actually, that's my update.
That is your update.
So since the last time I came up with these, and that's all it is.
No. In the set section, okay, that's just gonna be playing like lo-fi in the background.
Oh yes, there's gonna be a soft, quiet Seth singing of the
That's
songs.
awesome. That's awesome.
All
I
right,
wouldn't
well,
mind it.
All right, what do we say? We get to the third part?
yeah. Finish part 2, June 2nd.
Ish part key.
Finish part 2, so that's. Oh wait, yeah, that's not very many chapters. 44.
Yeah.
20
So yeah, what
pages,
chapters is
whatever.
that? 34 to 44.
I read 34
Yep.
because I remembered
No.
I remembered wrong.
Let me see.
I also want to throw this out. This is just completely random and off topic. Anybody else listen to music while we do these? That's just me.
Oh,
I do
that's
too.
just you.
That's just you.
Really?
Not
Oh,
like music. I listen to like lo-fi,
Yeah. It's like just a really
like a chill
low
little
in the
background.
background.
Oh,
I do
dude,
not.
I'm in silence mode.
No,
Uh-oh.
same. Oh,
We
my
have a
my
new
audio
divider.
my audio is being recorded, so I
New
cannot.
divider, top versus bottom.
Oh yeah, actually,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Man.
we
That's
need
my
a
number two
clever
right there.
yeah, I'm back, baby. I'm back.
Well, hold on. I was told I was number 2 earlier in this video.
I never said
Oh,
that.
oh,
Yeah, you did. We have it
oh.
recorded.
Oh,
Uh-oh. Pull up
I
receipts.
can't wait for you to show me where.
It might have actually been in the beginning segment. I'm not gonna lie. It was
It
whenever we were
might have
talking
been
about
when
the
I was
Minecraft thing. You
gone.
said, "Yeah, that's a number 2 idea right there."
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Well, he didn't call
yeah.
you
I
number two
didn't say you were
directly. He
number
said that
two
the
though.
idea was
It
a
was
number
worthy of
two
number
type of
Just
two.
idea.
tantalizing you with the
Yeah.
idea.
He said that idea was worthy of number 2.
hmm
Uh,
Although
Kind of an insinuation.
that doesn't mean you're going to get. But Seth did have a blunder, so
See,
I don't know.
are we just gonna
kind of
let
looking
Howie
like the old
monopolize
con
the
man to
top, or
move up.
like
It's not too late for us to rise up against our oppressor, guys.
it's not too late? Maybe open borders between all three.
Talk to
The
this guy.
problem is that
We got a
like the
problem.
number two has no incentive to revolt, right? He just keeps number two in his pocket and it holds us back all along, you know.
It keeps it at a 50% vote.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
perfect
He's
system.
he's kept the rabble thinking that number two is the highest that they need to achieve, you know.
Yeah.
Keep getting away
I've
with
also given
this.
promise that someone at the lowest point can still reach number two. So don't give up, David.
I'd
Don't
rather
revolt and don't give up.
Oh yeah, don't
That's the
revolt.
problem with
He's
this book
using
club.
he's using all 48 laws of power right now, guys,
I
against us.
know. I was gonna say we're just a bunch of number twos who think one day we'll be number ones. But the truth is
It's
the
rigged.
system is against us. The system
We're
is
all just a
rigged.
bunch of hoops thinking we could be piss one day.
All right. So chapter 34 through chapter 44.
Uh,
Um,
Yes. All the way to the third
can't
part.
can't let them think too much for too long. To chapter 44 through chapter 44, all the way to the third part is our next book club.
10 chapters,
All right.
easy. 3 weeks, 10
Yeah,
Sounds good.
this
Light
can't be
chapters.
work.
too bad. But how
Done.
long
Light
is it?
work.
I think it's a lot per chapter, though. Geez.
It is a lot. It's about the same amount of pages
Yeah,
as our
so
last section.
because this one's like about like 44 pages,
Yeah, they're long boys.
so they're a little bit longer.
But you got a lot of time to
Oh,
read them, so
Yeah, we do have a while. So
I'll have to
come with
spread it
your
out so I
thoughts
don't forget.
prepared. Seth, come with your songs prepared.
all right,
For the
sounds
All right,
special
good.
dude.
segment.
Until next time.
Yep.
Till next time,
See ya,
boys. Good
boys.
night. Sleep tight.
Deliver
Deuces.
that
night.
bite.
Good night.
Beg bugs.
Thank you for listening to today's book club. If you want to support us, please feel free to leave a rating and review on wherever you get your podcasts. We are on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, so either one of those would be great help. Also, leave a follow. That'd be amazing too. If you're listening or watching on YouTube, please leave some comments, like the video, subscribe. Another way you can help support us is we are Amazon affiliates, which means you'll see in the description wherever you're watching or listening to this podcast on the episode, there will be a link to the book that we are currently covering, or if we spin the wheel to select our next book, you'll also see a link to the next book that we will be covering as well. And these links are to the books the exact same books that we are reading during the podcast. So, if you're going to read the book anyways, it'd be a great help if you could use the link. It's going to be no additional cost to you. And we do get a small uh, percentage of the proceeds. So you get a book, and we also get a benefit. It's a win-win, honestly. And even if you don't get, like, even if you don't use the link, I still recommend getting the book One, because, it helps to read what we're reading. So you can kind of have some more context into what we are discussing, as well as, having your own book. We're not covering everything in the book on the podcast. That's impossible to do in an hour and a half. And so it allows you to get some really nice information in there that, again, we just can't cover. And it also allows you to annotate your own book. So, if years down the line, you can kind of come back to the book, kind of remind yourself on the lessons you learned. And, if you reread it again, you can have almost like a conversation with yourself back in time too. It's really an investment to, I think, read and buy books. So again, thank you for listening to Book Club and can't wait to catch you in the next one.